So, John, has Israel factored in protection of civilians in Rafah?
Well, again,
As far as you know?
Steve, we've seen no indications that there's operational planning, or at least planning at the level of specificity that tells us an operation, a major ground operation around Rafah is imminent. So we just haven't seen the plan for it. Any such plan, when you have more than 1 million folks that have been displaced down there, any such plan would have to factor in. A responsible military plan would factor in making sure that you can protect those civilians. And as I said, given the circumstances and the conditions there that we see right now, we think a military operation at this time would be a disaster for those people.
Follow up, Prime Minister Netanyahu rejected the Hamas proposal on hostages. What happens now?
Look, nothing's done until everything's done, and negotiations are ongoing. And as you heard Secretary Blinken say just yesterday in the region, that we're optimistic that we'll still be able to get a deal in place that will allow for an extended pause, allow for more aid to get in, and allow for a maximum number of hostages to get out. And we're still working at this literally around the clock, and we're optimistic we can get there.
Karen. On that, just to follow up, the president had said the other day that the response from Hamas seems to be a little over the top. Can you explain a little more about what part of that he was talking about?
I'd really rather not get into the details and the parameters of the deal that's being discussed. As you know, there was an Israeli counterproposal put forward, and then Hamas responded. As I understand it, the Israelis are looking at the Hamas response right now and working their way through that. So the last thing I'm going to do is get ahead of them and their decision making. But as the president said, as Secretary Blinken said, there were parts of the Hamas response which were very positive, and there were parts which obviously we believe and our Israeli counterparts believe need a little bit more work.
And there was the U.S.